But him and I continued to run the bars and raise chaos and just lived a very reckless and troubled relationship. Shortly after my daughter was born, a lot of abuse started. A lot of verbal, physical, and sexual abuse started in the relationship. Shortly after that, I was introduced to cocaine. And that numbed everything that I ever felt. And that numbed every mental, physical, and sexual abuse that I had ever been through in this relationship. So I fell in love with it. Years went by, and this relationship was just crazy. On several occasions, cops were called for domestic disputes. But as soon as they got there, we'd make up some kind of an excuse and they would leave. You know, we wouldn't press charges on each other. It was just a very reckless relationship, and the drugs got crazy. Finally, this relationship ended, but the drugs did not. My drug addiction now was very deadly. This addiction took my family away, took good friends away. Most importantly, took my kids away. I tried several rehabs. I was ordered to a few rehabs, and I have also tried rehabs on my own free will, and that helped. I got sober. I just didn't know how to hold it. I didn't know how to keep my sobriety. So I always went back after a year and a half, 2 years after being sober and after going through rehab. I always went back to it. So here I am running with the wrong crowd. People I don't even know. I didn't even know myself at this point. My drug addiction got so extremely bad to the point I was having seizures. I was so strung out I wouldn't even go see a doctor. And my so-called friends, I would show up at a party and we'd start using, and the next thing you know, I'd wake up on the floor. And I'm like, what happened? They're like, you had a, you're flopping around like a fish, you had a seizure. They're laughing. And I'm thinking to myself, I need to take to the doctor. But, they're just as troubled as I was. At this point, things were really out of control. I remember partying one night, all night long at a hotel, and the next afternoon we were leaving, and I was still pretty strung out on crack and cocaine and pills that I had no business driving. We left the hotel room, and I remember dropping some of my friends off, and as soon as I left dropping them off to head home, I totaled my car. I don't know if I had a seizure, I don't know if I fell asleep, I don't know what it was, but I woke up to officers all around me. So therefore, I got myself in trouble with the law. Due to my irresponsibility, because of my drug addiction, and my lack to even care because I was so strung out, I missed several court dates. I didn't even know what day it was. I didn't even know what month it was, to tell you the truth. So therefore now I have warrants out for my arrest. So at this point, suicide became a major thought in my life. It was something I thought about daily. I was walking, breathing disappointment to myself, to my family, anybody that's seen me. I was a disappointment. I was so mad I would wake up every day and be alive. I just wanted to die because I did not know how to get out of it. I've tried rehab and it did help, but I didn't know how to keep a hold of it. I couldn't keep my marriage together. I couldn't keep my kids together. I did not know. I just wanted to die. I did not think I even had a life worth living. I was on a 17-day binge on so many drugs. I have not even a clue what all I was on. I just know it was, looking back now, and now that I'm wearing it now. It was about 17 days of no sleep, of popping pills, snorting coke, smoking crack, and any kind of drugs I could get a hold of. And I was going to do it. I've already accepted the fact that this drug's taking my life. And now talking to my family, they had already expected it too. I mean, my mom was just waiting for the phone call, you know, that I was in the county ward of an overdose. And this is crazy. I remember this was like yesterday. I remember on December 17th, it had been, like I said, it had been 17 days of nonstop usage of, I mean, maybe barely any sleep. I was to the point I couldn't hardly move. I couldn't move to even talk. There was a knock at the door. And it was Coshocton County Sheriff's Department to come and get me for my arrest. And I couldn't even say anything, but I thank God for those officers. And I remember seeing Nancy, and I couldn't even speak to her, but I'm inside, I'm thinking, thank you. Because I know if she would have showed up, I would not have made it another day. And I thank God for being incarcerated. And I know, I'm not saying God put me there, but I thank Him for my incarceration. Because if it wasn't for me going to jail, the next was the county morgue. After being incarcerated, a couple days later, women of witness came in and spoke to us girls on Thursday night. They started talking to me about the love of Jesus. At this point, I'm rock bottom. I'll try anything because I've tried everything else. I'll try whatever. So they asked me if I wanted to accept Christ in my heart. And I said, you know, yes. I've tried everything else, yes. So I said the prayer of salvation. And from that day forward, my life has been completely transformed. I have not been the same. And that void has been filled, that emptiness. Now I can keep my sobriety because I know who to rely on.
Our first award is going to be for Bill Coble. Bill started at the Coshocton County Sheriff's Office in August of 1982 and will be retiring at the end of August of this year with 30 years of service to our community. Bill is married to Jo Ellen Coble, who works midnight shift at the Sheriff's Office. He has an adult son, Brett, and 2 adult stepdaughters, as well as their husbands and 4 grandchildren. I asked Bill why he thinks it is so important to provide services to victims of crime, and he stated, "I believe that we in law enforcement need to stop the pattern of being a victim and help all victims once again feel good about themselves, their family, and the situation they are in. We can all be victims of something if we continue to allow it to happen." Thank you, Bill, for your outstanding service for victims of crime. The next award goes to Chris McCabe. He is currently Chief Probation Officer and Deputy Bailiff at Coshocton Municipal Court. In his 24-year career, he has also served the community as a canine officer, President of the Buckeye State Sheriff Association Mounted Unit, and local President of the Mounted Unit, and started the DARE program in Coshocton County. In addition to this, he consistently advocates for crime victims in Coshocton County. Thank you, Chris.
Our next award recipient is Shelley McCarty. She currently works for Family Care Counseling as an individual counselor for the Coshocton Municipal Court Intensive Supervised Probation Program. She has served the community of Coshocton through hospice for 26 years and has facilitated the Always a Parent class for court. We appreciate her and her service to Coshocton County crime victims. Thank you. Right, our next award recipient is Christy Olinger. Come on up, Christy. She is the mother to Bridget and Jesse. She is employed as a real estate agent through Petticord Rice Auction Realty. She is the local campaign coordinator for the Marine Corps Toys for Tots. We appreciate her and the Toys for Tots campaign. She provides gifts to the children at the First Step Shelter, as well as many other families with gifts at Christmas time. Thank you.
Our last award is our Lifetime Achievement Award. This year is in memory of Judge David W. Burns. Judge David William Burns, at age 68, passed away on September 16, 2011, and is greatly missed by all who knew him and worked with him over the years. Judge Burns was a graduate of Coshocton High School in 1961 and graduated from the University of Notre Dame in 1965. He graduated with his law degree from the University of Cincinnati Law School in 1968 and worked as an attorney for many years before becoming the juvenile probate judge. On June 15, 1965, David Burns married his loving wife, Mary Catherine Hampton Burns, who is here today to accept this award on his behalf. David Burns is also survived by a daughter, Megan, son-in-law, Tom, and 2 grandchildren, Liam and Ellie. Judge Burns had many accomplishments throughout his life, but the most noted achievement of David Burns was the fact that he and his wife, Kathy, established the David Neal Burns Youth Foundation in the name of their late son to help less privileged children. This is just one example that shows that Judge Burns devoted his life to helping young people through guidance and simply by being a mentor. Just to name a few more achievements, Judge Burns, in the short time he presided over the court, replaced the camera system throughout the building. He implemented scanning and imaging of case documents, and he began a youth mentoring program. Judge Burns was very active in his community and was affiliated with various organizations such as Chairman of the Coshocton Republican Party, Coshocton Foundation President, Coshocton County Elks Lodge number 376, President of the Coshocton County Bar Association, and was active in the American Red Cross. Thank you, Kathy Burns, for accepting this Lifetime Achievement Award on behalf of Judge David Burns for his many years of service to his community and his outstanding service for victims of crime.
I think for me it was eye-opening. You know, as a victim advocate, I can't say that human trafficking has been, you know, on my radar as a victim advocate. You don't think that it happens here, but it does. And so I think he kind of put those points out there that you were like, wow, it's happening a lot more than what is even reported, you know, and it's right in our backyard. So I think everybody was just kind of in shock of the statistics that he gave us today.
Were you surprised that Toledo, pretty much mainly the hub in Ohio for sex trafficking?
Oh, and I think it's their location, for one, where they are in the state. And we actually, Toledo was on our radar about human trafficking because of the Attorney General's office. We had training and they talked a lot about that. And we were, I mean, it's still staggering, like, to know those kind of statistics.
Yeah. I think the speaker also did a really good job about providing examples. You know, you think of human trafficking or even sex trafficking in general, especially with child sex trafficking. I think he did a very good job at using the examples, you know, the practical, what does this look like if you're in your community? What are some of the red flags to look for? I know for me that was very helpful.
Put a face to who the perpetrators could be. I know that he used for an example that these types of people, pimps, whatever you want to call them, Johns, go to certain locations such as malls and things and kind of prey on maybe that girl that doesn't exude that confidence, is more like looking down at her feet and is kind of scared and timid. He could prey on that. That was a good example that he gave.
Yeah, I really like that one because, and he had mentioned that Polaris Mall is one of the kind of like, they've seen them hanging out there. You know, you kind of, I don't know about you, but I got the stereotype in my mind that, you know, there's these certain locations, maybe they're dark, maybe dirty, that, oh, I'm not going to go there, but they can go and kind of keep themselves, you know, be there to, in, you know, situations where it's not maybe as in our stereotype. It is, you know, they don't look like they're there being threatening or conniving, but they're there and they have a plan and a purpose to recruit. So
yeah, and like maybe that girl is a runaway, or maybe she doesn't have somewhere to live. Like, let's pull her in. Like, she's a perfect example of someone we could totally manipulate.